face my problems, I show up in the back of a limo wearing a $2,000 suit and a $40,000 gold fucking watch. So you listen to me and you listen well. Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a fucking worthless loser? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
Hey, what is up, my fellow virgin boy? Like say sauce can never take a motherfucking loss, nigga. Today we about to react to this shit. Sound crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Gay Jon Jones is ready to surprise, or ready to be stripped by Dana White. Let's keep it a beam with y'all niggas, bro. Let me keep it a beam. Turn my mic up real quick. Turn it up a little bit more, you mean? Listen, let me tell y'all something real quick. Jones is ducking Tom. That's first. Fucking Islam Makhachev is ducking Topuria. He really gonna face a fucking welterweight who just beat Bilal Muhammad. He has his first fucking title fight. Like, what the fuck is going on out here, bro? This nigga Islam Makhachev wanna duck motherfucking Ilia Topuria. And they let Ilia go fight Charles. That literally tells you that Charles is the king of the division if he's still there willing to fight him. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you duck and smoke. But let's get to this shit, because I can talk a lot about shit. I ain't react to UFC in a minute, but I can pop a lot of my shit. I ain't gonna pop it right now.
I'm excited to see you again.
But you're still active. 10 years left, but you're still active.
He said you got 10 years left, but you're still active.
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
He's like, oh.
Alright, so I really didn't plan, nor did I want to be making another Jon Jones video so soon after my previous one, but this narcissistic weirdo duck has seemingly admitted on camera that he's done with fighting, then immediately went on one of his famous masturbatory tweet storms as a means to cope with the online backlash. And look, at this point I'd hardly say that this is bad news, seeing as this might finally be the last chapter in Jon Jones' legacy, and at this point I'm happy to say good riddance. Sure, he might be the greatest fighter and champion in UFC history, but I really hope that the last 2 years of him acting like a disgrace leaves a permanent mark on how the world remembers him as an athlete.
This is kind of fucked up, because Jon Jones really is the GOAT, and the way how he's going about it, like, especially nowadays, bro, where internet is like really a big connection with fighters and everything, where they can have their own little like point of view of fighters and stuff like that. He's fucking up like really bad, bro. That's coming from like a UFC fan. Like, I've been watching this shit for a long time, and the fact that he's doing this is kind of like, it's kind of embarrassing, bro. It's kind of embarrassing.
And as you can probably imagine, fans online are trying to drag Jon through the coals for pulling this whole circus act, but as always, Jon is deflecting all of it by once again doing his pathetic little song and dance where he brags about how good his life is and how much money he makes. But I really think that people are genuinely sick of his bullshit right now, seeing as current UFC fighters, former UFC fighters, MMA journalists, and fans alike are all criticizing him for his antics. And yeah, in this video, I'm going to be talking about all this and more. Let's talk about the video itself really quickly. The guy that Jones is video calling is one of his former training partners who retired from the sport years ago, and after a little bit of him glazing Jon for still competing, we clearly hear Jon say that he's done.
He said you got 10 years left, but you're still active.
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
He's like, oh.
Now I ask you this, in the context of this conversation, is there any room for Jon's response to be misinterpreted as something else? I mean, the guy's literally talking about how Jon is still actively fighting, and the first words out of Jon's mouth are, nah, I'm done. Like, I really have no idea how this could be some sort of double meaning that I'm not picking up on, but at the same—
Listen, they can either— Jon Jones is a fucking mastermind of fucking manipulation and fucking psychological warfare when it comes to the fight game. Like, that's why he's undefeated, because he's the greatest of all time. But I don't know if he's gonna fight Tom. He don't really need to. Like, his resume, his money, like, he really don't need to. Tom is like an upcoming right now. Like, Jon Jones been on top for a long time, bro. For a long time. You mean? So just a lot of shit to like really talk about.
Same time, I'm not the smartest
like a casual would be like, yo, he ain't fight, but somebody who really know, like, hold on, bro, Jon Jones is really like that guy. Like, you tripping. His resume speaks for itself. He beat world champs before Tom was probably in MMA or anybody. That shit is crazy, bro.
Guy in the world. But call me crazy, as much as I knew that it was a very real possibility that Jon was never going to fight again, even in spite of all of his shit talk, I am a bit surprised to hear him finally admit it. Of course, this is a very strange way for us to get confirmation that he's retiring, so that adds to it for sure, but hearing him say that he's done with such finality in his voice is kind of surreal to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sad or upset in the slightest that Jon seems to already be retired, but it's surprising to hear the words come out of his mouth, I guess. Anyways, this video hits the internet, people start to see it, and fans begin to tweet at Jones for holding the heavyweight title hostage for months, even years, even though he probably knew for a long time that he never had any intention on fighting Tom Aspinall. And in true Jon Jones fashion, this guy responded to all the criticism in the most immature and narcissistic way possible. He kicks things off by tweeting completely out of the blue that he's loving Thailand land, loving his life, and how he's stuffing his face. And yeah, I'm sure that he's having more than just his face stuffed over there, I'm just saying. Regardless, when you read this, I think it's pretty obvious that he's sending off a clear message that he's absolutely not in fighting mode right now. Then this is where he starts to become a bit more upfront about him being done with fighting. This guy tweets at him and kind of mocks John for his belt about to be stripped away, and in response, Jones asks if he comes across as a guy who cares about being stripped of his belt. And in all fairness, seeing as this guy has already been stripped of a UFC title not once, not twice, but 3 times, I actually do think that he has enough experience with this to be able to handle it. You know, when you get stripped the first time for committing hit and run on a pregnant woman, then you get stripped the second time for popping for PEDs, then you get stripped the third time for once again popping for PEDs, what's the big deal in getting stripped a 4th time for being a coward? I'd also like to point out that John doesn't at all refute the possibility of being forced to relinquish the belt. I think that says a lot. Then when this guy calls him out for being scared to lose his belt, John then admits that he told the UFC his plans a long time ago and that he has no clue why they haven't shared them yet. Now there is an infinite amount of possible plans that John has in the works, but I will say that if any of them were fight related, then Dana would have told us them by now. With how much fans in the media have been harassing Dana for more info on the Jones versus Aspinall fight, and seeing how he's made zero progress on moving it forward, then it seems pretty apparent that Jones told the UFC a while ago that he's done fighting, and Dana's probably been trying to convince him to step into the octagon.
This is why Dana White doesn't pay like certain fighters a lot of fucking money, because it gets to a point where they have the money where they don't even need to fucking fight anymore. Like Conor got the top pay-per-views in fucking UFC history. Like, he don't need to come fucking back. Dana White fucking knows when he come back, that shit gonna fucking go #1. You feel what I'm saying? And we all know when John Jones fight, that shit gonna fucking hit the charts. Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, because the internet made that big, my nigga. You know what I mean? Even though Tom is definitely next up for the belt, it's like, there's nobody in the heavyweight division. That's the most interesting fight you could probably see right now. If it's something else, let me know, educate me ASAP, because I feel like that's the most interesting fight. Like, Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria is probably the #1 interesting fight we're talking about. Like, interesting, like UFC best of all time. Like, that fight is about to be fucking horrendous, because that's 2 of my favorite fighters, bro. That shit's about to get crazy. I don't know how I go to that part, but let's talk about this nigga
one last time. The nail in the coffin for all of this speculation comes in his next tweet, when in response to someone asking him what exactly his plans are, John simply says to continue to monetize on this amazing brand that I've created. This dude is such a dork. Obviously, it doesn't take a genius to see that he doesn't at all mention fighting in his future plans. And seeing as John recently appeared in that Netflix TV show last year, and seeing as he's apparently making a ton of money coaching on the Russian Ultimate Fighter show, I think it's probably safe to assume that he's trying to get into acting, which definitely wouldn't be the first time a famous UFC fighter has ventured into movies and television. Also, John is the co-owner of a new bare knuckle boxing promotion, so there's that as well. Regardless, this dude is so pretentious. Instead of actually giving some concrete information on what his next moves are, he instead gives the most vague and self-righteous response possible. John, do you actually think that you have an amazing brand? Because if you do, I have some bad news for you. It's not 2013 anymore. You are not the active, dominant champion with the squeaky clean image that you used to be. You're a guy who's ending your career blatantly ducking your interim champion, and you have racked up just as many scandals as you have titles.
God damn, this nigga sound angry as hell. Like, I know he like a fucked up type nigga, but like, if he don't want to fight, he don't want to fight. Like, if he ducking, he ducking. We gonna move into the next. Like, John Jones was he's on the monument of the greatest. That's it is what it is, bro. Fuck it. If he don't fight, he don't fight. I don't want to see him fight. He can't even fucking fight anyways. He too fucking old. That Stipe fight, the only reason why he forced Stipe is because he knew he was going to land that super kick, that super spinning kick, body kick, right to his body, because he's old. I mean, Stipe reaction and durability isn't like that how it used to be. You feel what I'm saying?
Title defenses. If popping for PEDs like 4 times, beating your fiance in front of
When John was young, he probably, he was definitely whooping ass. But now he getting older, he gotta study this shit. Like, this shit ain't serious.
If your kids and having multiple DUIs constitutes having an amazing brand, then what would be a bad brand? A couple of minutes after this, John responds to this guy telling him to shut the fuck up and fight by saying that this attitude right here is why he's so wealthy, and how people like this is how he's become so rich. And then after this, it's just a bunch of tweets where he responds to like the 5 fans that he still has left. I honestly don't understand how anybody with more than 2 brain cells can still be a fan of this guy in 2025. I'll be the first one.
I'm a fan, my nigga. I show respect, bro. You fought. He put on. I respect him, bro. As a fighter.
I want to say that I was a mass.
I'm not no glazer, bro. Like, I fucking like UFC, bro. I fuck with John Jones, bro. Like, I'm not on this internet like, oh, he ain't trying to fight on all this bullshit. Like, I ain't trying to hear that shit, bro. He the GOAT, bro. He went out there, he beat Stipe. I was hyped as shit.
Jones fan from the moment he debuted in the UFC all the way up until like the second time he got stripped of the belt in 2016, which looking back at it, I'm pretty surprised that I stayed on the bandwagon for that long because the signs of him being a scumbag were pretty obvious from the jump.
Well, I think we've got such a situation at heavyweight that everybody's got so fed up with an interim and having an undisputed and this debate that's been going on for a long period of time.
But if you're making Islam vacate, Jones needs to be stripped.
Listen, I'm on that page.
Now, this is the first clip that I will show you that highlights how people within the industry are starting to voice their criticisms of both Jon and the UFC for this entire fiasco. Here we have Patty just saying it how it is, that Jones should be stripped of his title, and Adam Catterall, who's an award-winning sports broadcaster, agrees with him. Patty's not even in Jon's division and he's saying that he should be stripped. He has nothing to benefit from speaking out against Jon and Dana, but this situation is so obviously dumb that he can't help but say it. Patty has no skin in the game with what's going on at heavyweight, and even though he's friends with Tom, he's even said himself that he would pick Jon to beat Tom. Personally, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but at least me and Patty can agree that Jon should have been stripped of the title by now.
How can people say that I'm ducking when I'm out here living my absolute best life? I don't know that that is like the same thing. You can live a great life and not be fighting somebody, whatever. But in talking
You know TC like this nigga really is ducking like, yo.
about what you would have done to me 7 years ago, 5 years ago when I retired. How about this? I've got a novel idea for you. I'm retired. I'm done. I'm 46. I'm washed up. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a commentator. I am a talking head. How about this novel idea? Fight the dude that's actually wanting to fight.
Honestly, this is one of the things that's annoying me most about Jon. It's the fact that he's been giving himself a victory tour and high-fiving himself about his previous fights where his opponents were older and smaller than him. He's patting himself on the back for beating DC when he was the younger and bigger man, but now that Tom is in front of him and now that Jon is the older and smaller guy, he's acting like the fight is beneath him. Like I said, this guy is such a hypocrite, but you can never convince a narcissist that what they're doing is wrong. And you already know that Jon's pride and his ego would never allow him to actually say out loud that he doesn't want to fight Tom, which is why he's waiting for Dana to give up and announce that he's officially retired. But this guy has spent the last 2 years coming up with every excuse in the book to avoid Tom, and I can only imagine how much money the UFC has missed out on by only having 2 undisputed heavyweight title fights in the last 2 years. But that's what you get, Dana, you stupid bald bastard. You gave this guy too much credit and he played you like a fool.
I think Jon is telling the truth. I think Jon is telling the truth 1,000%. And I think right now, Jon Jones doesn't want to take this fight. I think right now, Jon Jones doesn't want to fight, period. Jon Jones not fighting Tom Aspinall will not change anything that he's done over the past 14 years. But you are not being honest, you are not being truthful if when you tell the full story of Jon Jones, and Lord knows there'll be a lot of chapters, some incredible highs and some incredible lows, if you don't end it on, there was one fight left and he didn't take it.
You know, I don't usually find myself agreeing with Ariel, but I definitely agree with what Ariel's saying here. I do think that Jon is being truthful when he says that he's done fighting. And at the end of the day, I think it's incredibly unfair and a pretty big stain on the sport that the UFC are not only allowing the heavyweight belt to be held hostage, but they're also holding Tom's rightful spot as champion hostage so that they can try to make Jon happy. Jon's already ducked Francis Ngannou, and I personally believe it's going to happen again here with Tom Aspinall. But the good news is, I also think that we're right at the end of this saga, and I won't be surprised if Dana announces Jon's
This shit is crazy, bro.
retirement in the following weeks. And even though Jon's had a hell of a career and he's done some amazing things in the sport, I'm going to be a happy man when he's officially stripped of his title. And I'm not saying that he's going to be jumping for joy when it happens, but it seems like Jon's not going to be too upset about it either based on how he's been acting. Anyways, that's the video for today. Definitely let me know what you think about Jon Jones retiring. Do you think that this is legitimate, or could this be some sort of negotiation tactic? As always, if you like the video,
Bro, I'm gonna keep it a beam. It doesn't matter if it's a rumor, a fucking tactic, or a fucking star from fucking space. As long we see Dana, as long as Dana White says it, bro, it's official. Just like that.